Lisa Martinez walked up the stone steps of St. Mary's Church, holding her 3-month-old daughter Hope close to her chest. The baby girl wore a tiny white dress that Lisa had saved for months to buy. Today was supposed to be special. Today was Hope's baptism day. The morning sun felt warm on Lisa's face, but her stomach felt cold and tight. She knew people would stare. She knew they would whisper. But Hope deserved this blessing. No matter what anyone thought about her mother, Lisa pushed, opened the heavy wooden doors, and stepped inside. The church smelled like old books and candles. Sunlight came through the colored glass windows, making pretty patterns on the floor. People were already sitting in the wooden benches, talking quietly. As soon as Lisa walked in, the talking stopped. Every head turned to look at her. She felt her cheeks get hot and red. Hope made a small noise in her arms, and Lisa gently rocked her. "There she is," someone whispered behind her. "I can't believe she came," said another voice. Lisa kept walking down the middle path between the benches. Her high heels clicked on the stone floor. Each step felt harder than the last. She was looking for a place to sit when she saw him. Jake Collins sat in the front row. He was her ex-husband and Hope's father. Next to him sat Victoria Sterling, his new wife. Victoria wore an expensive blue dress and diamonds around her neck. Her blonde hair was perfect. Everything about her was perfect. Jake looked at Lisa for just a second, then looked away. Victoria smiled, but it was not a nice smile. It was the kind of smile a cat makes when it catches a mouse. Lisa found an empty bench in the middle of the church and sat down. Hope started to fuss a little, so Lisa whispered soft words to calm her. The baby's tiny fingers wrapped around Lisa's thumb. Father Murphy walked to the front of the church. He was an old man with gray hair and kind eyes. Lisa had known him since she was a little girl. He had married her and Jake 3 years ago. Now he would not even look at her. "Welcome to St. Mary's Church," Father Murphy said to everyone. "We are here today to celebrate the baptism of Hope Collins." Lisa felt her heart jump. Hope Collins, not Hope Martinez. Jake had not even talked to her about changing the baby's name. Victoria stood up and walked to Father Murphy. She whispered something in his ear. The priest's face changed. He looked worried. He looked at Lisa, then back at Victoria. "I'm sorry," Father Murphy said to the whole church. "There seems to be a problem. Can everyone please wait a moment?" People started talking again. The whispers got louder. Lisa heard some of the words. Scandal. Shame. That poor baby. Victoria walked over to Lisa's bench. Her high heels made sharp sounds on the floor. She leaned down close to Lisa's ear. "You should not be here," Victoria said in a quiet voice that only Lisa could hear. "This is my family now, my church, my life. You have no place here anymore." "This is my daughter's baptism," Lisa said back, trying to keep her voice steady. "I have every right to be here. Do you?" Victoria asked. She stood up straight and spoke louder now. "Do you really think you belong here? After everything you've done?" The whole church could hear now. Everyone was staring. Lisa felt like she could not breathe. Hope started to cry. Father Murphy walked over to them. His face looked sad and tired. "Lisa," he said softly, "perhaps it would be better if you stepped outside for a few minutes. We can discuss this privately." "Discuss what?" Lisa asked. Her voice was shaking now. "This is my baby, my daughter. I carried her for 9 months. I gave birth to her. I take care of her every day and every night. Why can't I be here for her baptism?" "Because you're not married," Victoria said loudly. "Because you had a baby without a husband. Because you're an embarrassment to this church and to God." The church got very quiet. Even Hope stopped crying. Lisa felt tears start to come to her eyes. "The church board has made a decision," Father Murphy said. He would not look at Lisa's face. "Given the circumstances, we think it's best if the baptism proceeds with just the father and his wife present." Lisa could not believe what she was hearing. They were throwing her out. They were throwing her out of her own baby's baptism. "This isn't right," Lisa said. Her voice was getting louder. This isn't Christian. This isn't what Jesus would do. Don't tell us about Jesus, Victoria said. You made your choices. Now live with them. Lisa looked around the church. All these people she had known her whole life. People who had watched her grow up. People who had smiled at her when she was young and innocent and perfect in their eyes. Now they all looked at her like she was dirty, like she was something bad. Jake finally stood up. For a moment, Lisa thought he would defend her. He would. Remember that they had loved each other once. He would remember that Hope was his daughter too. Lisa, Jake said, just go. Please, don't make this harder than it has to be. Those words hurt more than anything Victoria had said. Lisa felt something break inside her chest. She held Hope tighter and stood up. Fine, she said, I'll go. But not because I'm ashamed. Not because I did anything wrong. I'll go because my daughter doesn't need to hear this hate. Lisa started walking toward the door. Her legs felt weak. The colored light from the windows looked blurry through her tears. Every step felt like walking. Through deep water dots, she was almost to the door when she heard a voice behind her. Wait. The voice was strong and calm. It was not loud, but somehow everyone in the church heard it. Lisa turned around. An old man was standing up in the back row. She had not noticed him before. He wore a nice gray suit that looked expensive, but not flashy. His hair was white and his face was kind. He looked to be about 70 years old. I believe there's been a misunderstanding, the man said. His voice carried through the whole church. About what baptism really means. About what this church really stands for. Father Murphy looked confused. Victoria looked angry. Jake looked scared. The old man started walking toward the front of the church. Everyone watched him. Lisa hugged Hope and waited to see what would happen next. The old man walked slowly down the church aisle. His footsteps were quiet but firm. Everyone watched him. The church was so silent that Lisa could hear her own heartbeat. He stopped in front of Father Murphy and looked at him with steady eyes. Father, the man said, I've been coming to churches for many years, in many different places. I have seen baptisms in rich churches and poor churches, in big cities and small towns. But I have never seen a mother turned away from her own child's blessing. Father Murphy opened his mouth to speak, but the old man held up his hand. Let me finish, he said. His voice was not angry, but it was strong. Baptism is about washing away sin, about new beginnings, about God's love for all people. If we start deciding who deserves that love and who doesn't, then we have forgotten what faith really means. Victoria stepped forward. Her face was red with anger. And who are you to tell us about faith? She asked. This woman had a baby without being married. She broke God's laws. The old man turned to look at Victoria. His eyes were calm but sharp. Did she? He asked. Or did two people make a mistake, and now only one of them is being punished for it? He looked around the church at all the people sitting in the benches. How many of you have made mistakes? He asked. How many of you have done things you wish you could change? Should your children be punished for those mistakes? No one answered. The church stayed quiet. The old man walked over to Lisa. She was still holding Hope, who had fallen asleep in her arms. What is your daughter's name? He asked gently. Hope, Lisa whispered. Hope, he repeated. A beautiful name. Very fitting. He turned back to the whole church. This baby is innocent, he said. She did not choose how she came into this world, but she is here now, and she deserves to be welcomed with love. If this church cannot do that, then this church has lost its way. Father Murphy looked around nervously. Many people in the church were nodding their heads. Others looked uncomfortable. Sir, Father Murphy said, I appreciate your words, but the church board has made their decision. We must follow the rules. Whose rules? The old man asked. God's rules or the rules of people who have forgotten what love looks like? He reached into his jacket and pulled out his wallet. He took out a check and handed it to Father Murphy. "This is a donation to St. Mary's Church," he said. $50,000. Use it to fix the roof. Use it to help poor families. Use it however you think God will want." Father Murphy looked at the check. His eyes got very wide. "But sir," he said, "I don't understand." "Why would you?" "Because I believe in second chances," the old man said. "Because I believe in forgiveness. Because I believe that when we help each other, we make God happy." He turned to Lisa again. "Would you like me to hold the baby while you collect yourself?" he asked. Lisa looked at him carefully. Something about his eyes made her feel safe. She gently placed Hope in his arms. The old man held the baby like he had done it many times before. Hope stayed asleep. "What's your name?" Lisa asked. "Henry," he said. "Henry Kim." Some people in the church gasped. They knew that name. Henry Kim was one of the richest men in the world. He owned companies that made computers and spaceships. His picture was in magazines and on the news. "You're Henry Kim?" Victoria asked. Her voice sounded different now, less angry, more careful. "I am," Henry said simply. "And I think this baptism should continue." Father Murphy looked at the check again. Then he looked at Victoria. Then he looked at all the people in the church who were waiting to see what would happen. "Very well," he said finally. "Lisa, would you please bring Hope forward?" Henry handed the baby back to Lisa. Her hands were shaking a little, but she felt stronger now. She walked to the front of the church. Henry walked beside her. The baptism was beautiful. Father Murphy spoke about love and forgiveness and new beginnings. He poured holy water on Hope's tiny head. The baby woke up for a moment and looked around with her big brown eyes, then went back to sleep. When it was over, Henry walked with Lisa toward the door of the church. People watched him go, but no one said anything mean now. Some people even smiled. Outside, the sun was still shining. Lisa sat down on the church steps. Hope was awake now, looking up at the sky. "Thank you," Lisa said to Henry. "I don't know why you helped me, but thank you." Henry sat down next to her on the steps. "Can I tell you something?" he asked. Lisa nodded. "I have been very rich for a very long time," Henry said. "I have everything money can buy, big houses, fast cars. People who work for me and tell me I'm wonderful. But do you know what I don't have?" "What?" Lisa asked. "I don't have what you have," he said. "I don't have someone who loves me the way you love that baby. I don't have someone who would fight for me the way you just fought for her." Lisa looked down at Hope, who was making small, happy noises. "Being a mother is the hardest thing I've ever done," Lisa said. "Some days I don't know if I'm doing it right. Some days I feel so alone." "You're not alone anymore," Henry said. Lisa looked at him with surprise. "What do you mean?" Henry smiled. It was a kind smile that reached his eyes. "I mean, I have a job offer for you," he said. "If you're interested." "A job? But you don't know anything about me." "You don't know what I can do." "I know you love your daughter more than your own pride," Henry said. "I know you stood up for what was right even when everyone was against you. I know you have strength and courage. Those are the things I'm looking for." "What kind of job?" Lisa asked. "Something very special," Henry said. "Something that could change not just your life, but the life of every person on earth." Lisa felt confused but also curious. "I don't understand," she said. Henry stood up and looked at the sky. A small airplane was flying high above them, leaving a white trail behind it. "Have you ever wondered if we're alone in the universe, Lisa?" he asked. "Sometimes," she said. "Why?" Henry looked down at her with serious eyes. "Because we're not," he said. "And very soon, the whole world is going to know it." 3 months had passed since that day at the church. Lisa now worked in a tall building that reached up into the clouds. It was not on Earth. It was in space, spinning slowly around the planet like a giant wheel. Every morning, Lisa would look out the big windows and see Earth below her. The blue and white planet looked so peaceful from up here. She could see the sun rising over the oceans and setting over the land. Hope loved to look out the windows too. The baby would press her tiny hands against the glass and make happy sounds. Lisa's job was strange but wonderful. Henry had told her she would be a cultural ambassador, but she did not understand what that meant at first. Now she was learning. She spent her days reading books about different countries and peoples. She learned about their foods and music and holidays. She learned how they raised their children and how they said hello and goodbye. Henry said this was important for her work, but he had not told her why yet. The space station was full of smart people. There was Dr. Alan Rodriguez, who studied animals and plants from other worlds. There was Commander Beth Taylor, who used to fly spaceships for the military. There were computer experts and language experts and people who studied the stars. They all seemed to know something that Lisa did not know. They would stop talking when she walked into a room. They would look at her with curious eyes, like she was special somehow. But when she asked questions, they would just smile and say, "Henry will explain everything soon." Today was different. Today Henry had asked Lisa to come to a special meeting. She put Hope in the nursery with the other workers' children and walked to the big conference room at the center of the station. The room had a long table made of dark wood. Around the table sat all the important people from the station. Henry was at the head of the table, wearing his usual simple gray suit. He smiled when Lisa walked in. "Please sit down, Lisa," he said, pointing to the chair next to him. Lisa sat down and looked around the room. Everyone was looking at her. "Lisa," Henry said, "do you remember what I asked you outside the church? About whether we are alone in the universe?" "Yes," Lisa said. "You said we're not alone." "That's right," Henry said. "We're not alone, and it's time you knew the whole truth." He pressed a button on the table. The lights in the room got dim. A big screen came down from the ceiling. Pictures appeared on the screen. The first picture showed a spaceship, but it was not like any spaceship Lisa had ever seen. It was long and smooth, like a fish swimming through water. It glowed with soft blue light. "This ship visited our solar system 6 months ago," Henry said. "The people inside it have been watching us for a very long time." The next picture showed creatures that looked like nothing Lisa had ever imagined. They were tall and thin, with skin that changed colors like a rainbow. They had big eyes and long arms that ended in hands with too many fingers. "These are the Zentari," Dr. Rodriguez said. "They are very old and very wise. They have been traveling between the stars for thousands of years." Lisa stared at the pictures. Her mouth felt dry. Are they real?" she asked. "Very real," Commander Taylor said. "I have talked to them myself, through computers that translate their language into ours." Henry leaned forward in his chair. "The Zentari belong to something called the Galactic Council," he said. "It's like the United Nations, but for different planets and different species. They help keep peace between worlds." "Why are you telling me this?" Lisa asked. Her heart was beating fast. "Because they want to meet with humans," Henry said. "They want to decide if we can join their council, if we can become part of the galactic community." Lisa felt dizzy. This was too much to understand all at once. "But what does this have to do with me?" she asked. Dr. Rodriguez spoke up. "The Zentari don't judge species by how smart they are or how good their weapons are. They judge them by how they treat each other, especially how they treat their families and their children. They have been watching us for many years," Commander Taylor added. "They watch how we act when we think no one is looking. They watch how we treat people who are weak or different or in trouble." Henry reached over and took Lisa's hand. "They watch what happened to you at the church, Lisa," he said softly. Lisa felt her face get hot. "They saw that?" "They see everything," Henry said. "They have tiny cameras and listening devices all over Earth. But don't worry, they're not spying to hurt us. They are trying to understand what kind of people we really are. The Zentari have strong family bonds, Dr. Rodriguez explained. A mother's love for her child is very important to them. When they saw how you protected Hope, even when everyone was against you, they were impressed. But they also saw how cruel people could be to you, Commander Taylor said. They saw the hate and judgment. They are worried about whether humans are ready to join the galactic community. Lisa felt overwhelmed. She thought about Hope, sleeping safely in the nursery. She thought about all the people on Earth who had no idea that aliens were watching them. What happens if they decide we're not ready? She asked. Henry's face looked serious. Then we wait. Maybe for another 100 years. Maybe for another 1,000 years. Humans will be alone until we prove we can be better. But if they decide we are ready, Dr. Rodriguez said with excitement, then everything changes. We learn about other worlds. We share knowledge with species that have been alive since before humans existed. We become part of something bigger than we ever dreamed possible. Lisa looked at all the faces around the table. These smart, important people were all looking at her like she held the key to humanity's future. I still don't understand what you want me to do, she said. Henry smiled. The Zentari are coming here next week. They want to meet with humans face to face. They specifically asked to meet the woman from the church. They want to meet you, Lisa. Me? But I'm nobody special. I'm just a single mother who got thrown out of her own baby's baptism. That's exactly why you're special, Commander Taylor said. You represent something the Zentari value. You represent love that doesn't give up. Strength that comes from caring about others more than yourself. Dr. Rodriguez nodded. Your story gives them hope that humans can be the kind of species they want in their council. Lisa sat back in her chair. She felt scared and excited and confused all at the same time. What if I mess it up? She asked. What if I say something wrong and ruin everything for everyone on Earth? Henry squeezed her hand. You won't, he said. You'll be yourself. And yourself is exactly what they want to see. Outside the big windows, Earth continued to spin slowly in the darkness of space. Somewhere down there, billions of people were living their lives, not knowing that their future depended on what would happen in the next few days. The day had finally come. Lisa stood in front of a mirror in her small room on the space station. She wore a simple blue dress that Henry had bought for her. Hope sat in her baby chair, now 6 months old and able to sit up by herself. The baby was making happy sounds and reaching for the colorful toys hanging above her. Today is a big day, little one, Lisa whispered to her daughter. Today we meet our new neighbors. A soft knock came at the door. Lisa opened it to find Henry standing there with Dr. Rodriguez and Commander Taylor. Are you ready? Henry asked out Lisa. Took a deep breath. As ready as I can be. They walked through the long hallways of the space station. Other workers stopped to watch them pass. Everyone knew what was happening today. The first meeting between humans and aliens. The meeting. That would decide Earth's future. They came to a big room that Lisa had never seen before. It had white walls and bright lights. In the middle was a round table with chairs around it. But some of the chairs looked different. They were bigger and had strange shapes. The Zentari ship will dock in 5 minutes, Commander Taylor said. Looking at her watch, Lisa felt her stomach flip over. She picked up Hope and held her close. What if they don't like me? Lisa asked. They will, Dr. Rodriguez said. They already do. Remember, they asked to meet you specifically. A loud sound came from the walls. It was the sound of metal touching metal. The alien ship was connecting to the space station. Here they come, Henry said. A door opened at the far end of the room. Lisa had expected it to hiss or make strange sounds, but it opened quietly, like any normal door. The first alien walked through the door, and Lisa gasped out the creature was beautiful in a way she had not expected. It was tall, about 7 feet, with smooth skin that changed colors like oil on water. Right now, the colors were soft blues and greens. Its eyes were large and dark, like deep pools of water. It moved with grace, like it was floating instead of walking. Behind the first alien came two others. They were smaller, but had the same rainbow skin and large eyes. The first alien stopped in front of the table. When it spoke, the words came from a small device on its chest. The voice sounded musical, like singing. "I am Ambassador Kefmer of the Zentari Collective," it said. "We come in peace and friendship." Henry stepped forward. "Welcome to our space station, Ambassador. I am Henry Kim. This is Dr. Alan Rodriguez and Commander Beth Taylor." Ambassador Kefmer's skin changed to warmer colors, yellow and orange like sunset. "And this is Lisa Martinez," Henry said, gently pushing Lisa forward. "The woman we told you about." The alien turned its large eyes to Lisa. The colors on its skin became soft pink and gold. "Lisa Martinez," Ambassador Kefmer said. The device made her name sound like music. "We have watched your story with great interest. You show qualities that we value highly in the Galactic Council." Lisa did not know what to say. She held Hope a little tighter. "Thank you," she managed to whisper. "May I ask about the small one you carry?" Ambassador Kefmer said. "This is my daughter, Hope," Lisa said, finding her voice. "She's 6 months old." The alien's skin turned bright gold. "Hope, a beautiful name for a beautiful child. In our culture, children are sacred. They represent the future of all species." One of the smaller aliens stepped forward. Its skin was mostly purple with streaks of silver. "I am Velena," it said through its translator. "I study family structures across different species. Your bond with your offspring is very strong. We can sense it." Lisa did not understand what that meant, but she nodded. They all sat down at the round table. Ambassador Kefmer began to explain more about the Galactic Council. There were hundreds of different species from thousands of worlds. They shared knowledge and helped each other solve problems. They protected young civilizations from dangers in space. "But membership is not given lightly," Ambassador Kefmer said. "We must be sure that new species will add goodness to our community, not violence or hatred." "We understand," Henry said. "What can we do to prove that humans are ready?" "Ambassador." Kefmer's skin turned darker, more serious colors. "That is why we are here," it said. "To observe, to learn, to see if your species truly values love and family above power and greed." Suddenly, another door opened. Lisa turned to see who was coming in, and her heart sank. Jake Collins walked into the room, wearing an expensive suit. Behind him came Victoria, sterling, dressed in a shiny silver dress and too much jewelry. They both looked angry. "What are they doing here?" Lisa asked Henry. Henry's face looked surprised and worried. "I don't know. They shouldn't be here." Victoria marched over to the table. She looked at the aliens with disgust. "So these are the creatures you've been talking to," she said loudly. "These monsters." Ambassador Kefmer's skin turned dark red. The other aliens moved closer together. "Victoria, stop," Henry said firmly. "You need to leave." "I don't think so," Victoria said. "My husband's tax money paid for this space station. I have every right to be here." Jake stepped forward. "We heard about this meeting through our contacts in the government. We came to make sure the right people represent humanity." "The right people?" Lisa asked. "What does that mean?" Victoria pointed at Lisa with a long red fingernail. "It means not you. It means not some unwed mother who had a baby out of wedlock. It means respectable people. People with money and education and proper families." The alien's skin was now almost black with streaks of angry red. "This woman is not fit to speak for our species," Victoria continued. "She's a disgrace. She's everything wrong with modern society." Lisa felt tears starting in her eyes. Not again. Not in front of the aliens. Not when so much was at stake. But then she looked at Hope. Her daughter was staring at the aliens with wide, curious eyes. Hope was not afraid. She was fascinated by their changing colors. "You're wrong," Lisa said, standing up. Her voice was quiet but clear. I may not be perfect, but I love my daughter more than anything in the universe. I would do anything to protect her and give her a good life. Love? Victoria laughed. Love doesn't pay bills. Love doesn't run countries. Love doesn't make important decisions. Ambassador Kefmer stood up slowly. Its skin was cycling through many colors now, like a storm. Honored humans, it said, and its voice sounded different through the translator. Satyr, we came here with hope. We came believing that your species might be ready to join our community. But perhaps we were wrong. Lisa felt panic rising in her chest. This was going badly. Victoria was ruining everything. Please, Lisa said to the alien, don't judge all humans by what she says. There are good people on Earth. People who care about others. Are there? Ambassador Kefmer asked. Or are there only people like this one who value status over kindness, appearance over character? Hope suddenly made a loud, happy sound. She was reaching toward Ambassador Kefmer, fascinated by the swirling colors on its skin. The alien looked at the baby, and its skin began to change to softer colors again. The small one shows no fear, the Elena observed. Children often see truth that adults cannot. Victoria was getting more angry. Don't you dare compare my family to hers. We are married. We follow the rules. We do things the right way. And what is the right way? Ambassador Kefmer asked Lisa, knew this was the moment that would decide everything. Not just for her, but for everyone on Earth. Lisa looked at Ambassador Kefmer's dark, swirling skin colors. She could feel the disappointment coming from the alien like heat from a fire. This was it. This was the moment when humanity would be judged. Victoria's cruel words were about to destroy everything. The right way, Lisa said slowly, is to love each other, to help each other, to protect those who cannot protect themselves. Victoria laughed again, but it was a harsh sound. That's what poor people say when they can't afford to do things properly. Victoria, please stop, Jake said quietly. For the first time, he looked uncomfortable with his wife's words. No, I won't stop, Victoria said. Her voice got louder. Someone has to tell the truth here. This woman is not married. She had a baby without a husband. She takes money from the government. She lives in a tiny apartment. She shops at cheap stores. How can someone like that represent the human race? Ambassador Kefmer's skin turned almost completely black. The other two aliens moved closer to their leader. I see, the ambassador said sadly. So your species values wealth over love. Status over character, rules over kindness. That's not true, Lisa said desperately. Please, that's not who we are. But even as she said it, she looked around the room and felt her heart sink. Henry was angry, but staying quiet. Dr. Rodriguez was looking at his hands. Commander Taylor was staring at the wall. No one was defending her. No one was standing up to Victoria. Maybe Victoria was right. Maybe this was who humans really were. Maybe when it mattered most, people would always choose the safe thing, the easy thing instead. Of the right thing, Hope started to cry. The baby could feel the tension in the room. Lisa rocked her gently and whispered soft words. Victoria saw the crying baby and smiled that mean smile again. Even her own child is upset by this situation, Victoria said. That poor baby deserves better than this. That was too much. Lisa felt something hot and strong rise up inside her chest. Don't you dare talk about my daughter, Lisa said. Her voice was firm now, not scared anymore. Hope is loved. Hope is wanted. Hope is safe and happy and healthy. That's more than a lot of children can say. But she doesn't have a father, Victoria said. She has me, Lisa replied, and I am enough. Ambassador Kefmer tilted its head, studying Lisa with those large, dark eyes. Tell me about your daughter, the alien said. Lisa looked down at Hope, who had stopped crying and was now staring at the pretty colors on the alien's skin. Hope is everything to me, Lisa said. When she was born, I held her in my arms and promised her that I would always love her. that I would always protect her, that I would always put her needs before my own. And have you kept that promise? Velena asked. Every day, Lisa said. When she's sick, I stay up all night to take care of her. When she needs food, I make sure she eats even if it means I go hungry. When she needs clothes, I find a way to buy them even if I have to work extra jobs. That's not enough, Victoria said. Children need proper families. 2 parents, money, nice houses, good schools. Dr. Rodriguez suddenly looked up from his hands. No, he said quietly. Everyone turned to look at him. No, Dr. Rodriguez said again, louder this time. That's not what children need most. He stood up and walked over to Lisa. I grew up poor, he said to Ambassador Kefmer. My mother was like Lisa. She was alone. She worked 3 jobs to take care of me and my sister. We lived in a small apartment. We ate cheap food. But you know what? I became a doctor because my mother believed in me, because she loved me, because she never gave up on me. Commander? Taylor stood up too. My father left when I was 8, she said. My mother raised 4 children by herself. People said we would never amount to anything. But my mother taught us to be strong. She taught us to help each other. She taught us that family is not about having money. It's about having love. Henry walked over to stand beside Lisa as well. I had everything money could buy when I was growing up, he said to the aliens. Big house, expensive clothes, private schools. But my parents were too busy making money to spend time with me. I would have traded all of it for one day with a mother who loved me the way Lisa loves Hope. More people started coming into the room. Lisa did not know how they had heard about what was happening, but workers from all over the space station were arriving. Engineers and computer specialists and cooks and cleaning people. A woman named Maria stepped forward. She was one of the cooks in the space station cafeteria. I know Lisa, Maria said to Ambassador Kefmer. She comes to the cafeteria every day. She always says please and thank you. When my little boy was sick last month, she offered to help take care of him, even though she didn't know me very well. A man named Tom, who fixed computers, spoke up next. Lisa helped me when I was sad about my father dying, he said. She listened to me even though she had her own problems. She brought me soup and sat with me so I wouldn't be alone. One by one, more people told stories about Lisa, how she had helped them, how she had been kind to them, how she had made their lives better. Just by being herself. Jake Collins had been standing quietly, watching everything. His face looked confused and sad. Finally, he stepped forward. I need to say something, Jake said. Victoria grabbed his arm. Don't you dare, she whispered, but Jake pulled away from her. No, Victoria, I've been quiet too long. He turned to Ambassador Kefmer. Lisa is a good mother, Jake said. She's a better mother than I am a father. When Hope was born, I got scared. I ran away instead of helping. I chose the easy life instead of the right life. Lisa didn't. She stayed. She fought. She never gave up. He looked at Lisa with tears in his eyes. I'm sorry, he said. I'm sorry for everything. You deserve better than how I treated you. Hope deserves better than how I treated both of you. Victoria's face was red with anger. How dare you embarrass me like this in front of these creatures? They're not creatures, Jake said firmly. They're intelligent beings who are trying to understand if we're worth knowing. And right now, I'm ashamed of what they must think of us. Ambassador Kefmer had been listening to everything. Its skin was changing colors again, but now the colors were softer, curious. This is interesting, the alien said. We came expecting to meet with your leaders, your wealthy people, your powerful people. Instead, we find that your strength comes from ordinary individuals who choose love over fear. Velena stepped closer to Lisa and Hope. May I? The small alien asked, reaching toward the baby. Lisa felt scared for a moment. But something in the alien's gentle manner made her feel safe. She nodded. Lana gently touched Hope's tiny hand with one long finger. The baby laughed and grabbed onto the finger with her whole fist. "Remarkable," Velena said. "She shows no fear, no hatred, only curiosity and joy." Ambassador Kefmer's skin was now bright gold with streams of blue and green. "Perhaps," the alien said, "we have found what we were looking for after all." 1 year later, Lisa stood in the same church where her life had changed forever, but everything was different now. The old wooden benches were gone. Instead, there were comfortable chairs arranged in circles. The walls had new windows that showed pictures of stars and planets. Children from Earth and other worlds played together in a special room designed just for them. Hope was walking now, taking wobbly steps around the room. She wore a little blue dress with silver stars on it. In her hand, she held a toy that looked like a small Zentari, a gift from Ambassador Kefmer. The toy's skin changed colors just like the real aliens, and Hope loved to watch it shift from blue to purple to gold. "Are you ready?" Henry asked, walking up behind Lisa. He wore a simple gray suit, the same kind he always wore. But now he had a gold ring on his finger that matched the one on Lisa's hand. They had gotten married 6 months ago in a ceremony that included both human and Zentari traditions. "I think so," Lisa said, smoothing down her dress. "It's strange being back here. Good strange or bad strange?" Henry asked, taking her hand. Lisa looked around the room. Father Murphy was there, but he looked different, happier. He was talking with a group of Zentari visitors, learning about their spiritual beliefs. Victoria was not there. She was in prison for stealing money from charities. Her trial had been big news all over Earth. Jake was there, though. He sat in the back, playing quietly with a little Zentari child whose parents were visiting Earth. Jake had changed a lot in the past year. He spent time with Hope every week now, trying to be the father he should have been from the beginning. "Good strange," Lisa said finally. "Very good strange." The ceremony was about to begin. Today, the old St. Mary's Church would officially become the first Terran Center for Interstellar Understanding. It would be a place where humans and aliens could learn about each other, where children from different worlds could play together, where people could come to understand that being different did not mean being enemies. Ambassador Kefmer walked to the front of the room. The alien's skin was bright gold with streams of silver, colors that meant happiness and celebration in Zentari culture. Behind the ambassador came Velena and 5 other Zentari, who had become Earth's first alien residents. "Friends," Ambassador Kefmer said, the translator making the words sound like music. "1 year ago, we came to your world not knowing what we would find. We hoped to discover a species ready to join the galactic community. What we found was something much more valuable." The alien's skin shifted to warm orange and pink. "We found that your strength does not come from your weapons or your technology. It comes from your hearts, from your ability to love those who are different, from your willingness to fight for what is right, even when it is hard." Lisa felt tears starting in her eyes. Happy tears this time. "The Galactic Council has voted," Ambassador Kefmer continued. "Earth is now officially a member world. Humans are welcome among the stars." The room erupted in cheers and applause. Hope clapped her little hands, even though she did not understand what was happening. She just knew that everyone was happy. Dr. Rodriguez stood up, holding a thick book. "As Earth's first xenobiologist, I am proud to announce that we have already learned so much from our new friends," he said. "They have taught us new ways to grow food, new ways to heal sickness, new ways to travel between the stars." Commander Taylor spoke next. "As head of Earth's Space Defense Force, I can tell you that we are no longer alone in protecting our world. The Zentari have offered to help us defend against dangers from space. Not because they have to, but because that is what friends do for each other." Henry walked to the front of the room, still holding Lisa's hand. "But the most important thing we have learned," he said, is that the universe is full of different kinds of people. Some look like us. Some look very different. But what matters is not how we look. What matters is how we treat each other. He looked at Lisa with love in his eyes. My wife taught me that, he said. She showed me that true strength comes from love. That true courage comes from protecting those who cannot protect themselves. That true wisdom comes from choosing kindness over cruelty. Father Murphy stepped forward. He looked older but happier than he had a year ago. I must confess something, he said to everyone in the room. A year ago, I made a terrible mistake. I let fear and judgment cloud my heart. I forgot what my faith really teaches. That all beings are worthy of love. That all children are gifts, to be celebrated. He looked at Lisa and Hope. I asked Lisa to forgive me, he said, and she did. Not because she had to, but because that is who she is. That is the kind of person humans can be when we choose love over hate. Velena walked over to Hope, who was still toddling around the room. The small alien knelt down to the baby's level. Hello, little Hope, Velena said in simple English. The alien had been learning human languages. Hope giggled and reached out to touch Velena's colorful skin. The alien's colors shifted to soft pastels that made Hope laugh even more. In my culture, Velena said to the room, we believe that children who are born during times of great change are special. They carry the future in their hearts. Hope Martinez Kim is one of these special children. She will grow up knowing that. The universe is full of friends, not enemies. As if she understood, Hope took a few wobbly steps toward Ambassador Kefmer. The big alien gently picked up the little girl, and Hope squealed with delight as the ambassador's skin swirled with rainbow colors. This child will never know a world where humans are alone, Ambassador Kefmer said. She will grow up with friends from many worlds. She will learn languages from distant stars. She will help build bridges between species that have never met. Lisa watched her daughter playing with the alien leader, and her heart felt full of joy. A year ago, she had been thrown out of her own baby's baptism. Today, that same baby was being blessed by beings from another world. Jake walked over to Lisa. His eyes were red, like he had been crying. Thank you, he said quietly. For what? Lisa asked. For being strong enough to fight for her, Jake said, watching Hope giggle in the alien's arms. For being the mother she deserved. For showing all of us what real love looks like. Lisa smiled. At him? You're her father, Jake. You always will be. What matters now is that we all love her and help her grow up happy. As the ceremony continued, news reports were being broadcast all over Earth. People in every country were watching as their world officially joined the galactic community. Children everywhere were seeing that the universe was bigger and more wonderful than they had ever imagined dotting space stations around other worlds. Alien children were learning about humans for the first time. They were hearing the story of a brave mother who refused to give up on love, even when everyone told her she was wrong. And in a small apartment in Ohio where Lisa used to live, a new family was moving in. They were refugees from a war-torn country, starting over in a new place. The apartment was small and old, but it was clean and safe. Just like Lisa had done, this new mother would work hard to give her children a better life. The cycle would continue. Love would find a way. Hope would grow and spread to new hearts, new worlds, new possibilities. As the sun set through the new windows of the church, Hope fell asleep in her mother's arms. She dreamed of colorful lights and gentle voices singing lullabies in languages from distant stars. She dreamed of a future where being different was celebrated, not feared. And somewhere in those dreams, the universe itself seemed to smile.